Maybe I know we have another 2 more minutes, but as people start joining in, our guests, so I would just like to start off the session basically because it's 10:03, 3 minutes already passed by, giving a little bit of introduction about who we are. And I know you all are our speakers, an integral part of Breast Cancer Hub, and I really want to thank you all for being there with us from the beginning and those who have joined in along the way. Thank you for believing in BCH and trusting us and, like being so supportive. So what BCH is, just in a nutshell, we are a 501c3 Geister Gold nonprofit foundation. And our vision is save lives by awareness, volunteering, education, and research. Our primary focus is breast cancer in women and men. And that's why if you see the ribbon here, it will always have a strand of blue with the pink because we always support breast cancer in men. And we also stand together against all cancer through our Breast Cancer Hub Wings Cancer Hub. And our mission is basically we focus on early detection and prevention. We do a lot of cancer screening camps and awareness community outreaches in the US. And definitely right now we are also, we have been always focusing on India, but we are branching out to the other countries and tapping into Africa, Bangladesh, and other countries now. Now, village and like a very important project that goes on in India is the village adoption project, which has been running in parallel even during the COVID time, is door-to-door screening, treatment, and management. And we had adopted 2 villages in southern Assam from February onwards, and in October we added 6 more villages. So that's really fulfilling because when we have the suspicious cases, we actually navigate them, take them to the hospital, and we make sure that end to end we are taking care of them. We also have the patient treatment aid for the underprivileged, mostly focusing on the developing countries. The research is the untapped areas, like representing the unseen areas across the globe where the data, what we see is mostly from the urban sectors or few of the repositories. We are trying to go deeper into the rural sectors and trying to understand what is the real scenario with the cancer over there. And that's where the focus is mostly on the epidemiological research study. We do a lot of scientific counseling for the breast cancer patients, and definitely our support group, which you all are part of, our survivors, our winners here from breast cancer, like we say, the WhatsApp support group, which is a very private support group, and we do not have anything over the social media about it. And that's how we function as a family, and that's the trust we have with each other. And also definitely different leadership programs because mentoring students and making them the future leaders so that they can talk and spread the word about early detection and prevention. We are a global family. We bridge the gap between the developed and the developing world, and we strongly stand against discrimination of color, religion, language, and culture. And we serve everyone with equality. And our belief is that we save a life, we save a family. And everything in the US, this is my 100% voluntary and pro bono, and sorry, I am Lopa Mudra Dasra, I'm the founder, and I forgot to mention that. And even everyone who is with BCH, we have no overhead. Everyone is doing it for the cause. So that's how we are. And all our revenue, 100% is driven towards all the mission that I have mentioned right now. Yes, so this is who we are. Saying that, I would like to open the session and welcome everyone here who have, I know it's a festive time and still you have joined in to listen to and to support the cause. Really heartfelt gratitude on behalf of all our speakers and also on behalf of BCH. And thank you to our esteemed speakers and because for your time today and for your experiences. And this is a recorded session, so we have more than 60, 65 participants signing up. So everyone is requesting to get the, a lot of people have requested, so I'm going to send the recorded session. And also one very good thing is it will be on our YouTube channel, and this is spreading out because the impact that our survivors, our advocates are creating through their journey, it's a learning experience for others fighting cancer right now. And this is inspiration. What I cannot do as a scientist, but I know like the physicians, oncologists, we provide the scientific part, you provide the clinical part, but our survivors are the biggest strength. And they motivate others through their experiences. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming forward. And thank you for sharing your story today, which is inspiration for others. Saying that, I would like to open the session with our first speaker, Richa Khandelwal, who is from Chicago. And Richa was just, I have to mention this. So when we launched Breast Cancer Hub at Kellogg School of Management in October 2017, we had our first event in Chicago in 2018, May 18th. And Richa with Avi and Christine so they were the speakers for the event. And so Richa was the first advocate along with Avi and Kristen. And I'm so honored to have you, Richa, today again for our virtual seminar. Thank you, Richa. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Lopa. It's wonderful to know you. So I'll start with my introduction. I'm from Chicago. She gave my introduction, but I'm giving you again. My name is Richa Khandelwal. I'm in Chicago right now, but originally I'm from Rajasthan, Jaipur. And I came, so my cancer adventure, I guess, started in fall 2015. And I was only 36 years old. So I have a hyperthyroidism. So I was running out of my medication, and I usually go to my OBGYN. Sorry. So I called her to refill my prescription, and I was due for my annual, and she didn't refill my prescription. She's like, "No, you are due for your annual. You need to come in." And thank God for that. She asked me to come in. So she did my annual. She felt the lump, but she wasn't concerned because I have no history of breast cancer or sorry, I was not in that age.
Okay, Richa, take your time. Yeah, take your time. Do you want to give yourself some time, Richa? I can go to the other speaker. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. So we'll.
So she asked me to go for ultrasound. So they in the ultrasound they suggested the biopsy. So biopsy was the point where me and my husband were like, okay, there is something wrong. Sorry. So the biopsy was done on Thursday. So they said the results won't be back till the following Monday. So that was the longest weekend we had. And on Monday morning, I got a call saying it's I'm really sorry. It's positive, and the term they used was like invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 1. And so I asked the doctor, it's like, so positive means it's cancer? And he said yes. And I'm like, what stage? Because I had no clue about that term. What does that mean? And he said stage 1. And so I just said thank you, and I hung up the phone. I called my husband and I told him. So he came home, he was at work. It was 8 in the morning. But so we had no clue what to do, where to go, what to expect next. So we had our family friend in our neighborhood. He's a radiation oncologist. So we called him. He came over, and then he explained us the whole process. What you should expect. Like he made all the appointments with the breast surgeon, oncologist, and he was my radiation oncologist. So I saw my surgeon. So my surgeon made a plan saying we will do the chemo first, then surgery, and then radiation. So chemo was like 6 sessions of chemo, like aggressive chemo sessions, then lumpectomy, and then there were 35 sessions of radiation. So all that, it started November 2015, and everything took the whole year. So it was done October 2016. And with that MRI report, we got the final report saying it's cancer free. So that was but it was the longest year we faced. So with the support of the family, friends, my in-laws, my parents, without that, we couldn't have done it. I have 2 boys. My younger one was 4 at that time, and older one was 9. So the hardest part was when I lost my hair, and that was the heartbreaking thing. So from since then, my older one used to ask my husband, "She's going to live, right?" That was the hard part. I'm sorry. And then till today, if I'm not feeling up to it or it's just sitting down, he just gets like scared, like is something going to happen again? But I was lucky. I found out in the stage 1. I'm so grateful of my doctor. She felt the lump. Even when I went for my first appointment to my surgeon, she couldn't feel it until she saw the pin, like when they did the biopsy. So she knew it's right there. Otherwise, she's like, I can feel it. I don't know how she felt it. So I was lucky in that sense that it was found out early in a very early stage, because it was a very aggressive cancer. And and it just with the chemo was very, very challenging, very challenging. I couldn't take all 6 sessions because I couldn't take it. And I completed 4. And then on those 4 sessions, every possible side effect anybody can imagine. Anybody. Like I had everything from bone pains to mouth sores to there were weeks I couldn't even swallow water. I didn't sleep for months. It was horrible. But at the end, there's always, everybody used to say there is a light out of this tunnel. So just be positive, live day by day. Don't get negative thoughts. But yes, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and just be positive. That's the that's the best thing you can always say to yourself or tell somebody, that just be positive. They, if there is a dark day, there will be a daylight at the end of the day. So it's that's the only thing anybody can tell anybody or do. Just be positive and see your loved ones. Their family and friends are the people who actually supports you, and their strength makes help you come out of this scary thing, but it's good. It's all good now. I do my regular checkups and knock on wood, I'm healthy. Kids, everybody, everything is good. Thank you. Thank you, Lopa. Sorry.
So, yeah, give me a little time now to. Thank you so much, Richa, and I think you have set the example, as you said, right? I mean, every possible side effects, and still, you know, you didn't give up, and everything is fine now. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
And that's the biggest example. And being an aggressive type, so how important early detection is, and what critical role the physicians play in our life, right? I mean,
yes,
the primary physician. So it's an example for other doctors too, like, you know, to be so vigilant whenever patients, even though young, they just need to be ultra careful, because it's now becoming so common with the younger women. Thank you, Richa, for sharing your story, and
thank you so much.
help so many women and men. Trust. So going to our next amazing speaker, Laura A. Franklin. Laura is a two-time breast cancer survivor. She is an author, and she recently also published a book, and I have to read that, Laura, and order it soon. And the title of the book itself implies probably it reflects everything, Laura, and I cannot tell you how proud I feel when I see the title. Thank you, and over to you, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lopa. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to those in different time zones. Before I start, I just want to say I'm proud of you, Richa, for telling your story. Whenever you tell it for the first time, it's almost like you have to relive the emotions and everything. So proud of you. Proud of you. Like Lopa said, I am a two-time breast cancer survivor. I also had DCIS. But mine was stage 0. And the first time I was diagnosed, I was 33. And for 2 years, I had to pester my primary care physician for a mammogram because something didn't feel right. My body just didn't feel right. And cancer is in my family. And so after 2 years, I finally got a referral. And through the ultrasound and the biopsy, they found it. And so the first time I did the lumpectomy and then 36 rounds of radiation. And then just as I was approaching my, I guess medically speaking, my 5th year to be in remission, they found it again in the same breast, just in a different area. So this time I opted for the mastectomy, because like most, when you're diagnosed with cancer or any other disease, the first thing you think about is death. But I had a really good support system with my family. My big sister Liz, she flew out from the East Coast to come visit me. Shout out to her. And I had a good support system with my friends and family from my church. But like Richa said, you still go through the emotions of the fear of what could be. My kids were also small at the time. But what kept me focused really was my faith, but also just seeing the people that rallied around me. Like Richa said, no negative talk was allowed around me. No one was allowed to talk about dying or anything. Even my kids knew. And it was in their minds, I'm sure, but none of that was allowed. And so because of that, that allowed me to stay focused as well. Because there are times when you get into a dark place and all you think about is you're going to die, you're going to miss your kids growing up, you're going to miss, different things in life. But with the village that I had around me, I was able to stay focused, stay positive. And then I learned how to just take care of myself better, because certain foods, different things like that I was told could contribute. And I also, when you go to the doctor, for those who maybe they've just been diagnosed recently, like ask all the questions. There are no dumb questions. Write them down before you get there, because most of the time we forget. And then when we leave, then we remember. but then you have to go through another process just to get to the doctor again with so many questions. And so that helped me a lot to, like Richa said, all the questions she had family members who told her what to expect. And I didn't have that in my family, but I started writing down everything that just came to mind. So when I got to the doctor, I could ask those questions. But even with the mastectomy, I went through like the body image. I was concerned that, you know, that would be an issue just for me, because, you know, as women, we're already critical of ourselves anyway. And even in the African-American community, there's just some things we didn't talk about. And so I wanted to have those conversations. And then a couple of men of faith that would talk to me, they would say, you know, that doesn't make you a woman. That doesn't make you a woman. You're still whole, though that's something that's gone, you're still a whole person. And so those kind of things really kept me focused and positive. And then, as Lopa said, I was able to finish the book, but still, it's a process. And you know, we're always on this journey. Once you're diagnosed, you're always a cancer survivor. So I just try to give back to other men and women who have been diagnosed, going to doctor's appointments, just listening on the phone if they just need to talk, if they're afraid, you know, and things like that. And that's kind of how I pass along and encourage more women and men to stay focused and stay positive. So thank you. I appreciate Lopa for having this forum to share my story. I am now 14 years from the second diagnosis. Well, it'll be 14 years in December that I'm out. So I'm really excited about that. So just, you know, keep going. And I salute all of you that are still going through the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. And so inspirational, you know, two-time being affected with breast cancer and coming out of it with your positive note and with your, you know, the book that you have published. And I know you have written other books before also, it's your second book, right? So that's amazing. And, you know, sharing your journey means that you are kind of like, it's your life you're sharing with everyone. And you could do that as a book, which will be take away for everyone fighting the disease, right? Yeah. Thank you for doing that for everyone, and salute to you and salute to all the survivors and the fighters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Our next speaker is Uma Pai, who is from Bangalore. And I always say that Uma Pai, though I don't want to count her age because she's always 16 at heart. Over to you, Uma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lopa. Very, very happy. Navratri greetings to all of you. We call it Shubho Navratri here. So, Sarve Jano Sukhuno Bhavantu is what we say, that we let all of us be in good health, especially in COVID time. That is one prayer which we do every day, you know, twice a day, to see that all of us keep safe and cheerful. Because in COVID times, I know how difficult it has been for us, especially, you know, if we want any help, it's been a little bit difficult to get because all the frontline doctors are also busy. So let me start. My story is that I'm just 20. I just entering into 21, the legal age in what we call the new normal. Yeah. So I have adopted a new normal life. Yeah. And thank God, Richa. I know I also went through the same emotions because the cancer struck me dumb really, because I was so active, was so full of life, a single mother trying to bring up 3 kids, you know, with a very pressing realtor business I was in. Like we were one of the first ladies, I think, who entered the man's domain of real estate, you know, in those days in 1985. There are hardly 3-4 of us I can count on my fingers who used to do real estate in Bangalore. And Bangalore was like really growing very well at that time. And as I like to take challenges in life, at least that's one thing I think which has kept me going, because I treat every obstacle as a challenge. I need to find a solution for a challenge in life, right? So that's what I think it motivates me to do more things challenging. So because when we shifted here, it was a new locality in Bangalore, and it was called Kormangla. We had no flower shop, and I love my flowers, as you saw just now. So I got a florist coming into Kurmangala to set up a shop. So that made like, busy with that process of setting it up. Then I realized there was no medical store. There was no chemist around here. So I ran around, did a short, course in, that also in the chemist also. And then I opened a chemist shop. And by that time, my real estate had really was growing so big. And I was working alone because my kids were small and they couldn't help me in my business, but I needed to go. So unfortunately, just 6 months earlier, when I started on my journey into cancer, my elder sister passed away because of stomach incidents. So but the problem is she didn't want any treatment. She said, I've finished everything in my life. I have only one child who's married, who's got a baby. They're in North Carolina. So why should I do anything? I'm very happy. So she was not wanting to do anything. So I really didn't know, what it was. It really struck me dumb. What is this cancer is all about? Why? That is always, I think, comes, why me? What have I done? What is this cancer? So then when I went to my gynec first, because I had a very rough cough, in the morning, I used to get very rough voice, very hoarse voice, and I used to cough a lot. And when I used to walk, I used to be a lot of sputum coming out. So I thought maybe the stress and all, I must have got TB. I thought, okay, I've got TB. That's why I'm having so much of sputum and all that. So, but I went to my gynec and she did examine me. She put me onto an antibiotic dose of 5 days. Still, it didn't go. So she said, no, Mr. Pa, I need to examine you if you don't mind. So she did my best examination. I think she found a little bit of a doubt that there must be something there, but she was not able to pinpoint what it is. So, but as luck would have it, I really went first straight to the oncologist, very famous oncologist in Bangalore. They'd also treated my elder sister, and radiation oncologist was fortunately again my cousin's son. He was very well known even at that time, Ravi Divakar. I think that really made me feel very comfortable because I had faith, I had trust in those doctors because we knew them earlier, and I knew how much they'd gone to see that my sister is comfortable, so she didn't want any treatment. So I also just jumped, and immediately they called me and they said, no, we can see the stylate very clearly. That means it is indicating cancer in your cells. So I said, what do you want me to do? Because I didn't know what to do. They asked me, what do you want me to do? I said, cancer, doctor, throw it out. I don't want it in my body. Just throw it out of my body. That's why I said no. They said, no. Dr. Gopinath said, no, but we have to do biopsy. I said, what is that biopsy? If you know it's cancer, why you want to go through biopsy again? But then they did a biopsy and I waited for 3 days for the results to come. Yeah, it was confirmed that it is that. But Richa, there I shake hands with you. It was also just the beginning, very early diagnosis. That's what now we want to stress today, ladies and gents. Please go get a diagnosis done. But the earlier you do it, you have better chances of a better life, of a better treatment. And they do targeted treatment also nowadays. So that was my first challenge in life, that when I learned, that it is what it is. But because my kids were there, I had to work. I can't just hang up my gloves, can I? No. So I went ahead and did it. And as luck would have it again, I had only 2 chemo sessions, only 2. Because I went to Mumbai, Tata Memorial, and they said you have to have. But then here my doctor in Bangalore, who had opened me, my surgeon, he said, no, she doesn't need chemo. Why are you making her go through chemo? I said, how do I know? I don't know. You are the expert. So I put both the doctors on call. This is another important thing. I think Lopa will also agree. There is nothing wrong if you want to consult a second opinion. There's nothing wrong. It is our body, right? So we have every right to satisfy ourselves that we are doing the right thing. So then they both discussed, and my doctor from Bangalore said, no, she doesn't need chemo. Send her back to Bangalore. So thank God I came back to Bangalore. There's not much loss of hair really because of it was very initial, small dose of the hair given. And then when I came back, then he said 45 days of radiation you should have now. That's it. I said, okay, then what? So he said, okay, first we will do the mastectomy, because since you don't want it in your body, you have to throw it out. You said, okay, that we'll throw it out. So he did a full mastectomy of my right breast. And then, as luck would have it, my very great friend from Chicago, she comes every year here. We had booked for a holiday, Central India holiday. So I said, doctor, I have to travel. He said, what do you mean, Mrs. Pai? You got such a big bandage around your chest. You want to travel? I said, yes, my friends have come. And we have booked everything in exotic places like Jaipur, Madhya Pradesh, here, there, and Srinath, I have to go. He said, I don't know. It is your responsibility. You want to go, you go, but then come back for radiation. Don't get stuck somewhere. So yeah, we had a lovely holiday, came back, and I didn't lose much hair, as I said, but I had a wig to wear. I just thought, okay, let me also get some pink wig to go with the pink pink coat. I got a pink wig to wear. And at that time, we didn't even have a prosthesis. But I didn't bother. I said, okay, what is there? Everybody knows now I lost a breast, right? So what is there to hide in it? So I used to go everywhere, with only one side bra and all that, because there was nothing. Prosthesis was not unheard of, I think, in India at that time, 20 years ago. So that was also, I took it as fun. And then I started growing my own wheat grass at home. And I would just pluck a branch and then chew it and go walking. So every time my friends meet me, they used to make fun. Uma Pai has come chewing the cud. Oh, it is. I said, yeah, I have to chew this cud only. So like this, everything you had to take it with a pinch of salt, and we had to take it with, it's like a challenge thrown at you at life, right? But you have to overcome with a lot of strength. And we are thrivers, we are fighters. So we have to survive, right? So we have to have hope, we have to have courage, and especially faith. Faith has really taken me to a lot of places. And I love all cancers, because I know today we are thinking of breast cancer, but Lopa, you're doing such awesome work trying to expose us to men's breast cancer. So now I talk about it to all the men. I think, what is there wrong? Yeah, all of us ladies are going through with it. What is your problem? You won't want to go to the gym and develop your this thing, or what, ABS, what you call, you want to become Shah Rukh Khan, and you don't want to bother about it. So no, they're quite shocked at my telling them. So now this is how I face life. And I know that cancer is not contagious. I know that very well by now. And also that life is greater than cancer. Let us live our life. My life right now, it is like 26 hours of the day, not even 24 hours. You get involved in a lot of activities. That's again other thing I tell all my friends who have gone through this, experience in their life, that keep yourself busy, because mind is monkey. The minute you allow it to lie idle, it goes here, there. So best thing is not to let it, it's mind over body, 2020 especially is mind over body. So, and then you please now increase your dietary fiber. You have to eat lot of dietary fiber, lot of fruits, lot of vegetables, lot of sprouts, and please grow microgreens at home. It's so easy, it's so simple to grow microgreens at home. So whatever you can, spinach, methi, palak, whatever you can grow at home, carrots, beetroots, everything grows so well, especially in India. In Bangalore, it's lovely weather, as Lopa knows it. So, and then soya. I've been taking a lot of soya also. So as much as possible, please keep to vegetarian food. This is what I feel, because it has everything what you need, Okay, egg a day is, yes, I also have one egg a day, because I'm diabetic, and now comorbid in the COVID times, we have to develop our immunity. So I do have an egg a day, but the thing is that the immunity shots, what we call, Lopa is talking to you about it, orange, ginger, turmeric, pepper, haldi, garlic, raw tomato, raw onion, every day at breakfast, please have all this. Then you don't need to go on for any, vitamins and things like that. Amla, everything you get it. We get whatever you need, all the nutrients in all these diets. So please change your diet. And second thing is, change your lifestyle. For heaven's sake, change your lifestyle. Don't be a potato, couch potato, as they call it. Exercise, yoga, pranayama, whatever you think you can do to get back your health and your wellness, please do it. And I do number 8 walk nowadays. I don't know, I think all of you know, the number 8 walk is very good. It is proved to me very good, And you do hand exercise. This is all very simple. Just like one, madman after coming up from Nimas and anything, let them all bother. Why should you bother? You also laugh with them. They love you, also laugh with them. So all these small things have really kept me going. And I request all my sisters, please do the arm exercise every day. Please do the arm exercise. Don't forget it. Even if you forget your breakfast or lunch or anything, but don't forget it, because this is one thing. And milking your arm, so that the arm doesn't become heavy and then it doesn't become morbid. So all these small things, if you apply in your life, change your lifestyle, change your diet, make exercise, yoga and pranayama, you miss it once you start doing it. And if you don't do it for a day, you start missing it. So let it become a habit. Now, that is exactly what I just wanted to share with all of you, my small little experiences in life. Thank you very much, Lopa, for giving us this opportunity. It was so nice to see you. And I'm hoping you come to Bangalore soon to give you a real hug. Hugs to you all.
Thank you so much, Uma ma'am. I remember our meeting last year, and it was like so amazing. And I can't wait to give you a hug next year when I come, once the COVID is over and I'm allowed to come. So that. and what an incredible journey. I mean, like being a single mother and taking care of 3 kids and not giving up. I mean, it's like I can't tell you how powerful this is. And you showed all the women out there that, it's cancer is just another disease, and the way you took up the challenge and the spirit that you have, oh my God, I mean, unparalleled, right? So, I mean, everyone will agree to that. And thank you for doing this. And definitely, I always advocate for the lifestyle. Food plays a very important role, because we all know that, like the reason why is like antioxidant rich diet, and then the exercise. We all need to make it a part of our life, part and parcel of our life. And thank you for sharing this incredible journey, and it's a learning lesson for all of us over here. And I think the positivity that you carry with you, it's charismatic. It's the energy that you have. It lights up the room wherever you are going and when you are talking, Uma ma'am. So thank you for being who you are. Love you.
Thank you very much, Lopa. Thank you.
Our next amazing speaker is Anjali Gadoya. Anjali is from Mumbai, and she is the VG Mrs. India Iron Crown Lady of 2019-2020. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and another inspirational speaker. Over to you, Anjali. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Lopaji. I don't want to cry, but some tears will come out.
It's natural. It's okay.
Makeup will go. Okay. Richa ji, salute to you. Laura ji, Uma ji, salute all of you. Even I shed little tears when I heard Richa ji's story. I'll tell my story. Short, chota sa batati hu main. I born and brought up in orphanage when I was 3 years old. Because of food, I think, 2015, I detected with cancer. 2015, 2-3 giddiness. So I told my husband, "Mujhe chakkar, I am getting giddiness." He said, "You didn't eat your food, I think." Then I went to doctor. Doctor said, "You have any lumps on your breast?" I said, "No." I didn't notice that, because what I thought, those people are drinking and smoking, they will get cancer. I was not aware of cancer. What is cancer? We used to think like that. When I came home from doctor, I just pressed my breast. I saw one lump. Again, I called doctor. Yes, doctor, there is a lump on my breast. He said, "Come on, again you come." I went with my doctor. He sent me for biopsy. That was a Good Friday. 2015 Good Friday. I went to doctor, done the biopsy, and after 3 days, we got the report positive. Oh my God, I was shocked. Why me? Why me? I asked all the time. He said, "Now you have to wait for the report and all. You have to go for the operation and all." Okay, we have done the operation, remove the breast. Everything was over. Then doctor said, "You are very positive. You won't get chemo." I said, "I don't want to lose my hair. Such a long hair I had." Then again the report came, marker tests and all the tests were going on one time. We selected doctor. Touch wood, I got the good doctors in my life. surgeon, oncologist and all. I took my chemo. The first chemo was very bad. No, sorry, the port operation have done. They insert the port over here. Within 2016, I got all my November 22nd November 2016, 6 chemos were done. And doctor said you have to go for the radio, what is that called? I don't know the word, what is that called? Radiotherapy. I went to hospital, but doctor said no need. I came home, was very happy, and I have to keep the port for 1 year. They say you can't remove that. Now what? Everything is over now. My family, in-laws, I don't have my mother's side, no one is there. My mother was there. I called my mother. We don't have any relation. I just told Mama, I got cancer. What she said, you know, you do your medicine. Okay, I say, okay, no problem. Then after chemo, I just told my mother, my breast is removed. I don't want any help. You know, sometimes you feel somebody come and hug you, somebody come and love you. I always think, ek baar my mother will come and hug me and say, Beta, what happened? She asked me, you didn't die with cancer? Oh my God, I was shocked. Tears rolled. I said, my mama is asking me like this. Touchwood, I have a lot of friends and my in-laws, my husband, they were fully supported. Everything was on one of my family member in-laws, they says, they have to, they boycott us from my family because of cancer. And I am a bow in this house. I was very much hurted, you know, because of me, my family was boycotted. Cancer failure. I don't want to cry. I'm very positive. Then one fine day, I gone to the YouTube and I started looking everything. How to do fashion, how to do makeup, how to dress up. I want to show the world I'm something. I started doing learning everything, writing everything, how to make up and everything. My husband told me, whatever you like, you do. Suddenly my son came from Dubai. He was just joined the job. He left the job and he took care of me. And we went to Sunburn Festival in Goa. He said, Mama, come with me for 3 days. Without taking doctor's permission, I just flushed up my port and we went there. And I saw the people without hair. They were enjoying, you know, in Sunburn. Then I said, why the hell I'm wearing this scarf? I also removed the scarf and went for the dancing group was there. Start dancing. They didn't ask you a cancer survivor because everybody was, well, most probably people were like that only. Then I got 3rd prize over there. 3rd prize dancing me. Then I decided I will do something. Let me go home. I'll tell my husband, I want to join this. I want to join this. I want to join swimming. Everything I will start doing. Slowly, slowly, slowly I started doing. I went to the pool, swimming pool at the age of 53. I just told sir, I want to learn swimming and I'm a survivor. What did he say, you know? That was the biggest challenge in my life. What she is going to learn, cancer patient she's going to learn. I heard that. 20 days, I didn't do anything, only splashing in the water and coming back. Then I went to other coach, sir, I want to learn swimming. Within 15 days, he taught me swimming and diving from up. That was the first challenge in my life. And the person who told me, nothing is in there, she's going to die. I show them today what I am. My husband supported me a lot. My friends supported me a lot. And my kids supported me. Today, what I am, I'm showing. I started learning pole dance. Bindas, I went. Though I don't have breast, I started doing padded bra and shorts and climbing on the pole. I learned what is pole. That was only for the satisfaction I went. Then I started doing my folk dance. My teachers were too good. They helped me a lot. Only the thing is I can't do drawing because my wrist is locked. Then too, I've gone for the Mrs. India contest. I said, I will show the patients and the cancer survivors. See if I can do. Now I'm living only for the cancer people, cancer patients and cancer survivors. If I know this lady is having cancer, I'll go there and counsel them and talk to them, do some activities with them. They're so happy with me. And how I can help them, I help them. For the funds and all, you know, there are NGOs, I take them there and guide them. And always living for the cancer patients and cancer survivors. Today, by the grace of God, I have everything. My hair is come back. My health is okay. Everything is fine. My husband, loving kids, friend circles, everything. By the grace of God, I'm going like a shining star. And thank you, Lopaji, getting me here. And you also motivate me a lot all the time. I remember that night you called me at 3 o'clock. Sushant's death, you know, not this Sushant, cancer patient. When I told, I was very much upset. I was supposed to go for the contest. And when I gone on the stage, they announced my name because I was the only survivor there. Others were all fashion ladies. I thought, where I'll not get a chance. But they asked me a few questions and I gave the answer. Then I told, color and the face is not a beauty. You should have an inner beauty. I said, I have taken this, representing this contest for my cancer patients and cancer survivor to show them after the cancer life is very beautiful. I'm living beautifully now, enjoying my life. Each moment I'm enjoying. Yesterday was my Garba practice, Garba competition. I got third prize in that. Full of energy. I dance, whatever I know, I do it. Now I'm doing the Hindi plays also. And on Thursday, my online show is there. Solo acting, I'm learning. Many things in life. What is left, I'm learning everything. And I want to die, not with cancer. While dancing, I want to die. While swimming, I want to die. People should say, see, this lady, she enjoyed full of life. Cancer se nahi marna chahti main. I don't want to die with cancer. So I'm doing my exercise, Zumba, dance. Swimming is stopped now because of this Corona, yeah. But other activities are going online, but I'm not stopping. And I always motivate my cancer patients or cancer survivors. Please eat good food, do exercise, and don't take anything negative. Boycott the negative friends. You will get many friends. Go ahead. Go. Keep on going like a shining star. People should say, yeah, this is cancer survivor, Anjali Gadoya. Yeah, I feel so proud of that. Really, I'm telling you, people call me, December, I'm going to get a big award at Pune. What award I tell you? Social activities, Anjali Gadoya, cancer survivor. It is on December 27th. The function is in Pune. They called me. I'm not advertising myself because people tell them, oh, Anjali hai na, बहुत helpful hai. Oh, Anjali hai na, oh, cancer survivor, she's very helpful. And always I keep smiling face. And Richa ji, salute to you. Because you said your kids were very small. That's why I cried. I used to cry because my son was not married. He was 25. That was silly reason I used to think. When I heard about you, I started crying. My makeup was gone. Everything was gone. Be energetic, enjoy everybody, and stay positive. Do exercise, shake your all for that. उन्होंने बताया ना, Uma ji said, all the exercise, skipping and all, you'll be fine. I am proud to be cancer survivor. I'm proud to be Anjali Gadoya. And thank you, Lopaji. Thank you so much motivating me all the time because I keep on bothering you all the time, messaging and all. I'm so sorry, Lopaji. Sometimes I think, simply, but you are very helpful and you motivates me. That's why I'm going ahead. And I want to motivate all my survivors and cancer patients. Thank you so much. Thank you all the friends. Thank you everyone. Love you. Big hug to you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Anjali ji.
Thank
And
you.
please don't say that, you bother me and that then I'll get very upset. I'm here for you and everyone. Yeah, you know that.
One more patient is waiting. I will send your number and all to her. She's also a patient. Chemo is going on. So I say wait for 2 days as I was busy with Garba. But I am enjoying this group and very much. And I always watch Umaji's everything, Umaji is so active. But today I have seen her personally, like, isme dekha. So I feel very motivated. And all of us, Laura ji, Richa ji, really, really amazing story. I salute everyone. Salute to you.
Yeah. Salute to all of you. And then, I have no words to say anything, Anjali ji. You have already meant the way you took up, and I know your story back and forth, everything, when you told me about your, what you faced being a child, and from there you have shown the world and how you took stride to be on the fashion industry with a heart. And that is really, really remarkable. And thank you for doing this for everyone. You're setting example for all the cancer survivors, fighters, survivors, that never to give up. And even though, and then what your family is always with you, right? Though your mom, your mom shouldn't have done what she did, but you are not at loss. She is at loss because she lost someone, and she should have been proud of you because we all are so proud of you for who you are. And thank you for being who you are. and be like this, like our speakers are so amazing, they're inspiring everyone here, and everyone's story is so different, and how you have taken up the challenges with the positive stride, and like never giving up. And that's the message we are getting through and through, that the positivity and never giving up, and we should never give up. We should always fight, because that's that. I think like we all go through so many challenges, and but not to give up and keep going. That should be the moral. And I'm always there for all of you. And Anjali ji, please connect me to everyone. So I'm always here to whatever way I can be of help. Yeah, thank you. Our next speaker is Shravani Sharma, and I call her Lipiba, my friend Arijit's elder sister. That's why I call her Ba Lipiba. And I forgot to mention one thing, that I didn't want to bring the relationship, but Richa's husband is my school friend, so Abhishek, and that's how I know Richa. So I was trying to avoid any personal ground, but then I just thought, like, because everything is so emotional here, so I just wanted to say, and that's how. I mean, he's a wonderful friend, Abhishek, and that's how I know Richa, his amazing wife. And Arijit, my friend, and his wife are amazing, and that's how I know Lipiba, Shabani Sharma, who is professionally, she's a Shravani is a digital transformation professional, and of course, a breast cancer survivor. Over to you, Shravani.
Thank you, Dr. Roy. Really appreciate this forum. And I am so inspired listening to all these wonderful, beautiful, and gorgeous ladies. I can't thank you enough. And also to all the participants who are joining today, giving their time in learning. And hopefully they'll take a little bit of the learnings that they see here and take it to their network. Lopa, you're doing a wonderful job. The fact that talking about cancer is such a taboo in cultures like ours in South Asia. So it's really important, the kind of work that you're doing. In India, still, unfortunately, cancer is almost, I know Umaji mentioned that it's not contagious, but there is that feeling that you get talking to people that, oh my gosh, she has cancer. Should I be a little bit, distant from her? And so that is rampant. Certainly not in my family or in most of our a lot of our families, because we have the advantage, the privilege of education. But certainly in the more underprivileged among the people, it is there. And I'm seeing that in some of my, larger friend circle in India. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and it's a wonderful forum that you're providing to us here. So with that, so my name is Shravani. I live in New Jersey. I am fortunate that I live in a country where we have good healthcare system by and large. Again, it's also a question of privilege, whether you have that or not. I'm fortunate that I have that, and I would always go to my gynecologist for my annual checkup. So this was actually almost 10 years back, or even 13 years back. Actually, in 2007 was the first time that my gynecologist, Dr. Witkowski, detected a lump when she was checking me and sent me for a biopsy, a needle biopsy. And at the time it came down not cancer, thank God. Since then she put me on, or my oncologist put me on a 6-month plan of going back and doing mammogram. I did that for 3 years. In 2010, because of, I was busy, we were selling our house, we were buying a new house. I was also donating my bone marrow to a patient. So all that kind of pushed my annual checkup or my 6-month checkup out of my mind. And it was more than a year I went back to her for my mammogram. And when I went for my mammogram, the radiation, the radiologist saw that the lump that was benign had changed, and it had become irregular in shape, larger in shape. So he put me on the path to go to a breast surgeon and take it out for a biopsy. So that's what I did. And I waited for the biopsy results. It took about 6 or 7 days. And the fact that it took longer, if it was very quick, I would have understood that, okay, it's probably okay. But because it was taking longer, I knew something was not right. And that was a very stressful time. This was December of 2010. And I'm somebody who likes to educate myself. So that's my way of coping. So while I was waiting for this 7 or 8 days for the doctor to come back with the results, I read up on breast cancer, like anything, right? From, what is the staging, what are the different stages, what are the different kinds of cancers, and it was, I think it was too much information also, which adds to the anxiety, but that's just my way of coping. So everybody is different. My way of coping was to just try and read up more and more and more and more. And eventually the doctor came back with the diagnosis that I had ductal carcinoma in situ, just like Laura. I had DCIS, and I was very fortunate. It was, very early stage. That put me on the path for the next stage of treatment. And somebody, I think Umaji mentioned about, doing your own research and going to different doctors for second, third opinion, doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable. So my first surgeon had told me that I did not need a lumpectomy. He had taken out enough of the breast tissue that, he didn't think there's any, room for margins or anything, that I don't. But I didn't feel comfortable. So I went to see two other doctors, two other reputed breast surgeons in Jersey. And one of them actually gave me the option of a mastectomy. And the other one said, we should do a lumpectomy. So again, a lot of information, but for you to make that decision. So sometimes it's hard, but for me, I needed this kind of, options. And I went with Dr. Carney, bless his soul, who recommended that we do a lumpectomy, which is another surgery to take out more of the breast tissue so that we have more clearer margins versus the mastectomy. I thought that was excessive. So I went there to Dr. Carney. He did the lumpectomy, and then he sent me to a radiation oncologist. With all the biopsy, with all the results that came back, they did not think I needed chemo, so I was very fortunate. So I went for radiation, 36 rounds of radiation, and that was my treatment path. One thing to mention, like Richa, I was very young when I was diagnosed. I was a little bit older than you, Richa. I was 39, and I had two boys, just like Richa. So a lot of things in common. They were 8 and 13. My 13-year-old, we talked to him and we explained, but we didn't think it was appropriate for us to talk to our 8-year-old. But he was a smart kid, so he grasped. And I realized later on that he was grasping far more than he was letting on. But yeah, so for me, the challenge, so I was very lucky in the way my disease was caught early, in the professionalism, in the skill of the doctors and the entire healthcare system that I went through. For me, the biggest challenge was myself, my own, what is in my own head. It took a good 5-6 months for me to get to the stage after my radiation, everything was over, to get to the stage where I wouldn't wake up with the first thought being that, oh my God, I have cancer. So everybody is different. Everybody will go through their own journey. You have to go through that journey to get to that stage where you don't think that cancer is overtaking your life. It's all overpowering. It took me a good 5-6 months. And I always tell anybody who comes to me for advice or anything, it's like, I always tell them, it's your own journey. So it has to be in your own head with support from your own, you call it your tribe, your herd, your family, your circle, your village, whatever you call it, right? So it is important to find that herd, that circle, that group. And you'll see, you'll come across, there'll be a lot of people, and people who you don't even realize are such good friends of yours, but you'll realize, how helpful they are, and family is paramount. And Lopa mentioned my brother and his wife. They were, of course, amazing. My sister in India, my parents and my in-laws, everybody was amazing. But it's important for you to kind of, go through the journey of finding that close knit of people that appeal to you, that can go with you on that journey. It's important to cut out people that you don't think are helping you in any way. I would have people come up and ask, oh, why did you get cancer? Was it something you eat? I'm like, you can educate yourself, guys. You don't have come to me to ask. It's not a sin that I got cancer. It happened, and it happened to me. It could happen to you. It could happen to somebody else. So I took the step to cut those people out, politely, of course. I didn't need that, and I think that is something that all of you have probably experienced with. Find your own group, cut out the people that are not working for you. You don't owe anybody an explanation of why you have cancer. If you had that answer, you wouldn't have cancer in the first place, right? So and so that's one thing that you find your own. For me, the challenge was to get out of my own head and come to terms with the diagnosis. And then later on to realize how fortunate I was to have the kind of experience I did and the kind of support I had. A lot of people will not have that support. And so I was very fortunate. Of course, I was always, eating healthy, or, but I was not regular in exercising and things like that. I would go on and off, exercise regimens like a lot of us, and then find excuses not to do my exercise. But after the treatment and everything, I made it a point to follow, whatever works for me, walking, going to the gym or whatever it was. It was not for any other reason, but just to, feel healthy myself. Just to feel that, if life throws some other challenge at me, I would be better equipped to handle it if I have my health, an exercise regimen that also helps with my psychology. So I've been hiking a lot since then. It's been a journey. It's almost 10 years now. I go for my checkups regularly every year without fail. Again, I've been really, really fortunate in the kind of healthcare and the kind of support that I have. And I wish that everybody would get that kind of support. And I know that Lupa is doing a lot of work to educate women and men to take take charge of their health, so to speak. And so I'm really grateful to Lupa, and I'm really grateful to all of you wonderful ladies, Richa, Uma, Laura, and Anjali. You inspire me. You inspire me so much. I don't know how you do it, but you guys are amazing, amazing women. And thanks again, Lopa. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lipiba. Thank you, Shravani, for being our speaker today and sharing your journey, because you gave me the permission to share your journey everywhere. And I cannot explain that how helpful it is, because benign tumor turning into cancer. And that's why we have to be so proactive and vigilant. And you said such an important thing is all in our mind, how we have to overcome. I know everyone is there, but we have to first have it out of our mind that we can definitely take it in. And that's such a big, it's so important, and you brought this up. Thank you so much. It's such an inspiring life. Thank you, Lipiba. Our next amazing speaker is Sanjukta Majumdar, and Sanjukta is from Charlotte. She's a software professional, and I have come to know Sanjukta personally since last year, and because of the word cancer. But once you hear from her, you'll get to know such an amazing woman she is. Over to you, Sanjukta.
Thank you, Lopa and the Breast Cancer Hub, for providing me an opportunity to share my cancer journey. All the speakers were really amazing. Their stories are so inspirational. So let me start with my introduction. I am Sanjukta Majumdar. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was diagnosed with stage 2 metaplastic triple negative breast cancer. It's a very rare form, aggressive form of breast cancer. And I was diagnosed in March 2019. And I felt the lump on my right breast during a regular self-exam of the breast. I don't have any history of any breast cancer or an ovarian cancer. And since I'm 40, I go to annual mammogram every year. So just before 6 months of my diagnosis, I went for a mammogram, and that came up clean with a letter that, okay, we don't see anything, with a disclaimer that you have dense breasts. So I'm really fortunate that I was able to detect it through a self-exam. Otherwise, if I had waited for another 6-7 months for my next mammogram, my cancer would take up a very aggressive form, because it's a worst form, because it's a very rare and aggressive one. So I went through the traditional treatment of chemotherapy, then lumpectomy, followed by the 30 sessions of radiation. And one thing about the triple negative breast cancer is it doesn't have a targeted therapy, but it usually responds well to chemotherapy. So, I mean, since there is no prevention, since once you get cancer free, right, once your treatments are done, since there is no prevention or preventive action, there is no medicines or anything for preventive action for triple negative breast cancer. The only thing we can do is to build up our immune system by eating healthy habits, by eating healthy and exercise. So talking about the challenges, there are few challenges and dilemma that I have faced during my cancer journey. I think the most biggest challenge as a mother of a then 13 years old and 8 years old, to break the news of my cancer to my kids. So me and my husband sat with the kids and revealed the news to them. So since my 13 years old knows what cancer is and what can do to your body, she had a lot of questions in her mind that, oh, what kind of cancer is it? How big is the tumor? What kind of treatment you would get and how long it would last? But my 8 years old, only thing he asked, okay, mom, are you going to be okay? And he, as if he just need an assurance that mom would be okay at the end of the treatment. But we are very open to the kids about my medical condition. And I shared with my daughter the full treatment and what could be the potential side effect of the chemotherapy. And it is really amazing that how boldly the kids have faced the situation. Suddenly, I felt that they have become so matured and cooperative, right? Even somewhere I know that they are also very scared, just like me. Yeah, but I think that's motivated me, and that helped me to face this cancer journey. Yeah, my husband and my kids were very supportive. So the cooperation of the family, right, it's really needed for a cancer patient. And other thing, I won't call it a dilemma, a challenge, but one of the dilemma I faced during my cancer treatment. So since I was working, right, I was thinking in a dilemma whether I should continue the work during my chemotherapy or do I need a short-term disability from the work. But fortunately that I have an option here to work from home during my cancer treatment. So I continued to work during my treatment. I had a discussion with my manager about my medical condition and also told him that it could be that I might have to take a leave or I could take a few days off or a few hours off, right? Depending upon how I feel and depending upon my medical condition. So just to set that expectation, right, that what to expect from me during the treatment. And the good thing I think I did is that I continued the work, right? Because as Umaji was saying, that idle brain can be like a monkey thinking about what could happen, thinking about going in different directions, right? So good thing is that it kept me occupied the whole day. Otherwise, I know I would have been worried and all the negative thoughts would come into my mind. Also, there are days during the chemo, as we all know, right? There are days where we are full of energy, and there are because of the some of them because of the effect of the steroid, and there are some days you would be feeling totally drained out, right? So I used to take advantage of those days, right, where I have the energy and try to do all my pending work. So yeah, that's how I managed work. And lastly, I would say that you know your body best, right? So if you feel any change in your body or anything that is bothering you, always consult your physician. Don't wait, right? And also a self-exam or regular self-exam of the breast is very much necessary, as early detection can save life. Again, I want to thank Breast Cancer Hub for giving me an opportunity to speak about my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjukta. You are also a Breast Cancer Hub family member. So we all are grateful to you for, for sharing your journey. And I know like metaplastic TNBC, and we know that targeted therapy is difficult with TNBC, but early detection is the key, and the follow-up, which is so important. And you were so vigilant. And that's the message I think is so important for everyone to know, that you went through mammogram, you had dense breast, somewhere it didn't pick up, or maybe the tumor was too small, it was coming up, and then because of BAC, and you were detected early, and being such an aggressive type of cancer, but you are cancer free now with all the treatment. And so important, like how you brought it up to your children, right? I think our kids are the greatest support system, and we always underestimate them. But I know I had Christine, and in Chicago, and she would have her kids wearing this T-shirt, like strong like mom, and she would tell that how her kids motivated her, and you are saying the same story. So we should be always so transparent with our children, because they are our biggest support, and they really motivate and keep us going. And thank you for bringing this up. And work environment, right? Working during the treatment, and it's a diversion, and how the work, and I think the company should be also looking more into this, how when someone goes through this journey, how the work environment need to support the person too. And your company has done that for you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for bringing those important factors. Really incredible. So yes, here we were with our speakers, our winners, our fighters, our survivors with breast cancer. And thank you for being the incredible you who each of you are. And our last two speakers are our physician, who we go first and foremost when for all our checkups. And so we will have Dr. Animita Saha, and then the session will be taken over at the end by the oncologist of our forum, Dr. Rakesh, who is also going to talk on a very important topic. So, and thank you to all our guest participants for staying and listening to our speakers. And we so honor Dr. Animita Saha for you to be here with us. And Dr. Saha is an associate professor of internal medicine at UNC Medical School. She's also the medical director at the Atrium Health Myers Park Clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you, Dr. Saha, for your time today. We are extremely excited to hear from you. Over to you.
Thank you, Lopa. Well, I was so amazed at all these stories. Of course, I hear it from my patients as well, but just listening to it, this kind of forum definitely is kind of a new experience in a way, because when you are on the other side of the, table or exam table, whatever you call it, it's a little different than listening to the stories in forum. But it's not just the cancer survivor, particularly breast cancer survivor story, but it's just the strength that I saw in each and every one is overwhelming. So my presentation most probably is going to be dry a little bit. I have not gotten breast cancer as yet, I will say, but I'm a woman. I'm definitely at risk, at average risk, at least I will say. And I have definitely abnormal mammogram. And just having an abnormal mammogram and going for diagnostic study and then ultrasound, and that every moment you're thinking, oh, maybe something, you know, that itself was so overwhelming. And then waiting 6 months follow up for another diagnostic, you know, I can only, and you know, imagine what it is that when you're waiting for like a biopsy and you almost know what it could be, right? I mean, that's just, thanks to the advancement though, right now, the mammograms are very, very, has improved a lot. The technology, you know, particularly the 3D mammogram is really, really good in terms of detecting very small cancer. Not only just that, actually, Dr. Rakesh, I think, will know more about the details of the type of mammogram, but just in short, I know that definitely good. But again, dense breast tissue came up. I think Sanjukta mentioned it. You know, that's a disclaimer you always have. And you then like thinking what to do. Like, okay, I have dense breast tissue, so what should I do, right? I mean, I may have a cancer hiding under dense breast tissue. So what will be the next step? And sometimes even the doctors don't have answers because they're not really very good studies that have shown that something definitely needs to happen after that, right? I mean, you know, breast MRI, but how many people do have their insurance company covering a breast MRI? So stating that, I will not take much time, but mainly focus on, I work in a clinic or office setting, which of course teaches the residents and medical students. So if you don't know this, but in United States, or even actually in India too, where medical school students go to their college or the residents get their training, is always the underserved sector. So this is the area where there will be a lot of patients who are underinsured or don't have insurance. And that's kind of the environment that the students and the residents get their training mostly. And that is where I work to teach these folks and also have my own practice. And that has been always my goal since I graduated from my residency program, is to serve underserved populations. So in a way, I feel very privileged, and that I always say that I get paid for what I always wanted to do. I mean, who gets that, right? Anyway, so I have seen a lot of disparities, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And I've actually dotted down some points every speaker has mentioned. And I know that I'm talking more from US perspective, but I know this kind of disparities exist in India as well. I mean, even much more of a disparity. And I'm sure Anjali, and Uma ji, who works with a lot of, meet a lot of people, most probably know that what kind of disparity exists in India. So I will share my screen. And I don't want to bore with you with a lot of statistics, but I do believe in data. And I think that without data, you just don't know, right? So I'm going to talk really from North Carolina perspective, because this is where I practice. But this is very reflective of the rest of the country as well. So North Carolina is not like an outstanding, it's not at the end of the spectrum, either end. So it's pretty much in the middle. So that's good in a way, that because you get a view. So we know that breast cancer incidence rate, that means new cases in North Carolina, is higher than United States. Not drastically high, but higher. We know more Blacks and Hispanics are diagnosed with late stage. Sorry, I actually went to this. This is not the initial slide. I don't know why I went to that side. Sorry about that. Gosh, what happened? Okay, sorry. So if you look at the statistics, that new cases, that is per 100,000 population, in US, it is entire US, it's an average of 122. In North Carolina, it's 124, or you would say 125. So it's definitely higher. But the one that's really stands out to you is what I noted in red. So if you go the breakdown of it, look in new cases incidence in Black population is 123, which is really lower to some extent than whites, right? Look at the deaths. North Carolina is 23, which is not too much higher. They're doing pretty much same as US. But here, the Black is dying much more, 30. And then if we go to the late stage of it, you will see that the late stage diagnosis is a little bit higher in North Carolina, not drastically, but in Black, it is astoundingly higher. And I put the Mecklenburg County and Union County because the racial distribution might be a little different in these two counties. And you will see that definitely in Mecklenburg County, the numbers are higher, as you can really kind of get people who are here. Mecklenburg County has a much higher Black and Hispanic population. So conclusion about the statistics. The breast cancer incidence rate is in North Carolina is slightly higher. More Blacks and Hispanics are diagnosed with late stage and in North Carolina and also in the US. I will not say that North Carolina is drastically different than the rest of the United States. We are pretty much in the entire US, the Blacks and Hispanics are diagnosed with late stage. The death rate is also much higher in Blacks, both in US and North Carolina. Getting regular screening, we know lowers the risk of dying from breast cancer. Like we all know that there's nothing to prove anymore. It's very well-known fact. Now, you will say why, someone mentioned actually, Shravani, maybe, you were in New Jersey with a very good healthcare system because you work, you're insured, you're educated, you have support system around you. Maybe that's kind of true for Sanjukta as well. But that's not the story in the entire population. So we'll talk a little bit about that. What are those barriers, right? We have said cultural specific barrier, right? That's very true in India. I'm sure Uma and Anjali will agree with me that it's embarrassment, right? Something in your breast, like, first of all, you don't touch and feel it. That's like weird, right? And then you feel it, who are you going to talk about it, right? And then going to a doctor. I mean, I'm sure Uma was and Anjali maybe in a different situation. You guys were much different, that you could feel it and run to a doctor or picked up your phone. But that's not true for the majority of Indian population. They're not going to go. I remember when I was a very young, not even in medical school, I had an aunt whose entire family had breast cancer, but she still waited until she had completely end-stage breast cancer and died very young. I still remember her very vividly. Then, family relationship, as you said, it becomes a taboo. You get shunned by your other family member, right? That happened to Anjali. That happens here too, because we have people coming from different countries. So when they come from those countries where this is a huge taboo, they still don't want to go. So I face that all the time. They don't want me to do a breast exam. Those kind of situations happen all the time. Then there are general barriers. That means, you don't want to go and get screened. That can have multiple reasons. That can be the taboo. That can be just that, hey, I don't have it. It's not going to be me. The other person, Shravani, I think, was asked, why did you get cancer, right? So, that person must have done something bad, but it's not me, right? I always do the right thing. Then, don't want to find out. I have patients who said, I don't want to go for a mammogram right now because I'm the only breadwinner in the family, or I'm the only caregiver for my mom, and I don't want to have any diagnosis right now. It's a weird, if you think, you will be like, how can she say that? But if you think about it, at that point in that person's life, it makes sense, right? Because they don't want to go through a diagnosis, a further diagnostic step, biopsy, treatment, when they know this will take that person away from either earning for the family or from taking care of their loved ones. So those are the situations. The stigmatization we talked about, fear and ignorance. They don't know what breast cancer is, how it can happen anyone. Of course there are risk factors, but that's not the whole story, right? Every woman has a risk of developing. I always tell people, you have breast, you can get breast cancer, right? That's pretty much it. Then there are economic barrier, the copay of which, again, we'll talk, which is most probably not the case right now in US. There's no copay for a screening mammogram. But sometimes when you are younger and it's a diagnostic study, which in your 30s and stuff, and you still don't qualify for your screening mammogram and you now need diagnostic mammogram and all that, there are co-pays for each and every step of it. And depending on what kind of insurance you have, and particularly in the era of high deductible health insurance, this could be a lot of money, right? Then lack of insurance, which we often, very great extent deal with. The cost of mammogram is inappropriately high, according to me. So those are there. And then structural barriers. And I'll go a little bit more in structural barriers. These are non-economic obstacles that can impede access to cancer screening, which is, where is it located? Do I have to take a bus, go where? I have to take a day off or half a day off from my job to go somewhere and get a mammogram. That can interfere, right? The time of the service, it's between 8 to 5. Well, I work, right? Don't get off my job until 6. Where do I go? Language barriers, which is huge, with a lot of immigrants. America is a country of immigrants, so we have a lot of refugees, and they don't understand. They can take a phone call because then they say that I speak something, not just Spanish, which is most probably the easiest interpreter we have, but the other languages, and they don't get to talk with anyone. Health literacy, of course, is a big piece where LOPA is doing all the work. And then immigration status is a big deal. A lot of undocumented population, they don't want to go anywhere because they feel like, okay, they will take my information, they will ask me what my immigration status, I don't want to go. Administrative burden, calling, making an appointment, then and there is a huge administrative piece for uninsured population. When we actually do a lot of screening through different grants from federal government and state government, and working with the radiologist, we get mammogram done. There are a lot of things that the patient has to prove, right? Why they don't, how much do they earn, how much tax they pay, where they live, like all these documents that they need to provide. And that can really add to the logistical challenge. Like, you have to literally go around with a folder with you because you don't have those data all the time available to you. Transportation is a big piece. Not everyone has a car. Not everyone has enough gas in the car. Lack of childcare, they're looking after the babies. How will they go into mammogram? Who is going to look after the baby? Or to the doctor, actually. Now, we have solutions for some of them. I know it's a busy slide, but I'm just going to highlight a few of them. There has been work done with modifying the hours of service. So there has been some arrangement that has been made for early hours between 7 and 8, late hours. Arrangement has been made with mobile mammogram bus to be wherever, at different locations, maybe in a church, where people go for their service, here, maybe in a parking lot somewhere, which is in the neighborhood of where patients live, or in a library, or in some of this, sort of a mall setup, where people can easily go and get the mammogram done. They're passing by, they say, okay, I have time today, let me go and just get the mammogram done. Then helping patients to sort through the administrative or logistical challenges. So there are navigators, different programs have navigators who will call and help the patient to get this to the doctor or to the mammogram. Translation services. As LOPA has been working in different languages, just having it in English will not help. So you have to look at what population you're serving, and accordingly you have to make those educational materials in those languages. Those are part of the secondary measures too, that you have to provide group education, like set up in whatever, in faith group, in church, in temple, in synagogue, those are the places where people go, and in a much more little bit of a relaxed setting in a way, and that might be a very good venue to have these discussions. different kind of brochures and pamphlets. I want to go back to the economic barrier, and I want to make sure that we know that access to healthcare is a huge, huge problem. Access to healthcare and access to appropriate screening technology. And sometimes we have to think beyond us. It's not just us, it's the entire society, because if the society is not healthy, then we are not. As a country, we have to think about that. And as very educated member of the society and those who are privileged, and we need to think that when we are voting, we are thinking about these issues. Healthcare is a voting issue, and we need to think about when we vote, not just think about our personal beliefs and personal gain, but also about what's going to happen to healthcare, to us and to the society at large. I want to just highlight, Lopa, some of the points that I've taken from the different discussion. So one, I want to say that the example of Laura, that she went and initially, her doctor did not pay much attention to the lump that she had. And this is not unique to Laura. This is a very, very common story that often things are not taken seriously. Particularly, unfortunately, in population, in certain racial and ethnic group in this country. And I'm sure in India, it will be more like in a busy outdoor setting. I can remember in my medical school being in a government medical a college in the outdoor, where there is loads of people are coming in, and you really doing a very quick exam and not always following through, particularly if they're young and they're not really in the high risk group. You're really not listening to them. And women, we also fall in a minority group, right? And so often women are ignored, and they are like, you're hysterical, you're too much, you're too conscious about your body. All these kind of reasons are often provided to women. And then if you're a woman of color, that's very, very common. So we need to always make sure that, we as physicians need to be, of course, advocate for our patients. But before that, the patients, the population, we need to educate, like Lopa is doing, that going to this population and saying that, hey, if you have something in your body and something is wrong, be insistent. Be insistent. Put your foot down. That's what I tell. Put your foot down. Second thing is getting another opinion. If you think your doctor is not hearing you, definitely go for a second, third, whatever opinion that you need to. And also when you heard from one opinion, one doctor, as Shravani mentioned, that she went to 3 different doctors and they all gave 3 different options, right? And they're all options, truly speaking. I mean, they're not wrong, but sometimes some doctor will tell you something what they believe. Like, we are all human beings, so we have all our belief system. So they will put themselves in your shoes and say, I would have done this, right? But maybe they haven't given you the second and third option. So always go for that. Other persons say days off, your job supporting you is a huge deal, right? I know in our clinic, when we have multiple nurses who actually got diagnosed with breast cancer, we fundraised, we did the walk, we supported them whenever but that's not always possible for many people, women in US. Or even in India, that to take days off, they will lose their job if they take days off. So how actually as a physician, that's where the physician's role comes in, how they can actually push and advocate for that. And also us, the greater part of the society, how we can actually push our local government, our state government, our federal government to do more about this population. So this is where I will end my discussion. I think I took pretty long time, but if we have questions at the end, definitely we'll be happy to answer.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saha. These were incredible points that you brought up. And This was important for all of us to know, because we always think that, in the US, nothing can go wrong. But I know I have been going to the shelters, and thank you for connecting me to the Pink Project and to the navigators from, Atrium. And there's so many cases in Charlotte, like I know, detected late. So we are trying to penetrate into different communities now from Breast Cancer Hub. And, like yesterday also, we had gone to another event. But whatever you said about India, everything you mentioned, right? I know I have been going to India. We have villages adopted, so how difficult it is, but we are not giving up. And we kind of literally take the patients and force them, okay, you have to come with us to the hospital, because you felt alarm. So everything is reflective. And thank you for bringing this that's why I wanted you to be on this forum, today's seminar, because I knew you could integrate everything at the end, like the multidisciplinary and how it should come together. And thank you for doing it so explicitly. It was amazing, amazing talk. And thank you for that, Dr. Saha. Our last speaker of the forum is our oncologist on the panel, Dr. Rakesh Sharma. And actually, Uma ma'am introduced me to Dr. Rakesh last year, and Dr. Rakesh invited me to give a talk at St. John's, and that's how we connected. And I got to know the person he is through the activities, the amazing work he does, and his thoughts and feelings for the patients, and which being a doctor, and he's an amazing, kind person. And that's why I thought no one else can do a better justice today than Dr. Rakesh. Over to you, Dr. Rakesh.
Thank you, Dr. Lopa. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
I will try to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming
Can you
up.
see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Dr. Rakesh.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in this forum. And I'm very much impressed with the work Breast Cancer Hub and Dr. Lopa is doing, both for her as well as for him. Because after I started knowing Lopa, we also started thinking about we should have some awareness for male breast cancer patients also. And I'm very happy to hear about our previous speakers, Richa, Laura, Uma Madam, Anjali, Shravani, Sanjukta. Happy to know that all are doing very well. And they are all now inspiring others to come up, fight out their disease and move forward. And last speaker, Dr. Animita, it is wonderful to hear the statistics and know that things can go wrong in developed countries also. Having said that, my topic is mainly meant for the people who are going to volunteer and help others come through and go through their disease. So my topic is management of axilla for him and her with breast cancer. This is actually, once I complete my presentation, you will see that this is dedicated for male breast cancer patients, all the slides, but topic is different, all the slides. Greetings from my institute. My name is Rakesh S. Ramesh. I am basically a surgical oncologist. I am from St. John's Medical College, Bangalore. Before starting the topic proper, I will just small introduction to the anatomy. This is where the breast is. This is the place where the axilla, and one term which I will be using very commonly is sentinel lymph node. So, for example, if you have a tumor here, so this is the nearest node where the cancer can come, that is called sentinel lymph node. So as you have heard from all the speakers, when you have a problem, everyone speaks about whether I have to remove the entire breast or conserve the breast. But nobody speaks about the axilla. We should know why we should know about the axillary management. That is only to know about the side effects, also to know how much your work is getting impaired with the operation, also to know about the newer developments which are happening in the axillary management, so that you can incorporate in your treatment after discussion with your physician. There are three modalities mainly. One is axillary clearance. Then there is the new kid on the block. You cannot call a new sentinel lymph node biopsy and the radiation. So axillary clearance, that is the most common axillary surgery done in the entire world, especially in low-income countries. It is the radical surgery of the axilla, and because of the radicality, more complications. So the new kid on the block is sentinel lymph node biopsy. That is a smaller surgery, less invasive, with less complications. And the studies and trials have shown that the survival is equal for sentinel lymph node biopsy as well as for axillary clearance. And here I would like to mention a word about male breast cancer. So there was a lot of discussion whether sentinel lymph can be practiced in male breast cancer. Since the number is less, we don't have any randomized control trial to prove that sentinel lymph node is good for male breast cancer. But we have two retrospective studies, and studies have shown that male breast cancer patient can also undergo sentinel lymph node biopsy. It's a very important statement. Then comes the radiation. So if you have an advanced disease after your routine surgery, probably some people will go for radiation of your axilla. If you have an early disease after sentinel lymph node, there are trials which are showing that axillary dissection is not required. If it is positive, you can just give the radiation and finish off. And studies have shown that with that, the complications are comparatively less. And now the studies are going on. If you have an early cancer, whether to do anything to the axilla or not, trials are going on. It has not matured. So maybe in another few years, we will get the answer for that. For the time being, we will just keep it on hold. So from now onwards, I will be talking about the axillary surgery. See, whenever anybody who with a cancer goes to a physician, we should also discuss about the axillary surgery. That discussion include a pre-operative discussion and should know what is happening intraoperatively, also the post-operative management. So the axillary management is pre-operative, intraoperative, and post-operative. Why pre-operative? So pre-operatively, you and your surgeon should sit and discuss, should have a proper patient counseling. You should start learning exercises from the surgeon. They will teach you exercises. As you have seen, Uma madam has shown the exercises which she is doing. She has learned from the surgeon. So you should start learning the exercises and you should start practicing the exercises before the surgery. Only then after the surgery, you can start practicing. I am repeating again, because you all are advocates and you are all volunteers who are going to speak with cancer patients in the coming. So you should ask them to learn the exercises, practice the exercises, so that their post-operative period and survivorship becomes very easy. As I always say, intraoperative thing is a two-man's game. See, 60% your side, 40% surgeon side. So intraoperatively, your role is very less. So if you have an early disease, you should opt for a less radical surgery, and your surgeon should offer you a less radical surgery, that is sentinel lymph node biopsy. If you have an advanced disease, the surgeon should follow the current techniques of axillary dissection, and he should place the drain in the proper place. If your surgeon has not done a good job, whatever you do after that, you are going to get complications. So it is 60-40. So post-operative period, whatever you have learned in the pre-operatively, the way to do the exercise, you have to do a graded exercise. You have to properly maintain your drain, which the surgeon has put. That will be taught in the hospital when you are getting discharged. You should follow a buddy. A buddy is a person, can be your husband, your friend, or anybody, any other caretaker who is with you, who will help you to start your exercise, help you to manage your drain, take you through your journey, and also go through a good support group, so that your journey during the cancer time becomes so easy with their support. And as many speakers have told, say no to negative thoughts, negative people. Now, we should know what are the possible complications after the axillary surgery. So The most common complication is seroma, followed by lymphedema. Then many people complain of sensory impairment of upper arm. Then motor restrictions can come, axillary verb, infection, and there are many rare complications. So seroma. Seroma means collection of fluid in the axilla. It can also happen in the chest wall. It can occur because of improper drain management. Also because of radical surgery. So if you have an early disease, opt for less radical surgery. Lymphedema, that is enlargement of the arm over a period of time. It also occurs because if you are not practicing your exercise properly and if you have a radical surgery. Again, I am repeating, early disease, less radical surgery, less complications. Sensory loss. Most of the patients will say, sir, I am having difficulty in inner part of the arm. That is because the nerves going through the arm are affected when you do a radical surgery. So same thing, continue your exercise, early detection, less radical surgery, less complications. Motor restrictions. The exercises you have learned earlier, if you are not practicing in the proper way, you will have abduction deformities. More, and also if you have a less radical surgery, the complication rates will be less. So always you have to do your exercise religiously so that your arm movement is free. And another thing is axillary verb forearm. It happens in some percentage of people. It also occurs because of fibrosis of the lymphatics. Here, if you are religiously following your exercises, it usually will not happen. And infections. So infection can happen immediate post-operative period if you are not done good aseptic precaution during your surgery, which happens in some of the low-income countries. Proper wound and drain management is very, very important. And after your surgery and treatment, proper care of the hand is also important. Otherwise, you will have infection associated with other complications. If you have any comorbidities, example diabetes, you should bring it under control. And anaphylactic reaction is a very rare complication because of the dyes which you use for sentinel lymph node biopsy. Along with that, some people rarely will have winging of scapula. Now, how to prevent the complications of axillary surgery? See, breast cancer awareness is the #1 thing which I will say to prevent the complication. Why? Because you detect the cancer at an early stage. You have a less radical surgery, lesser complications, good quality of life. The first thing, the same thing what Breast Cancer Hub is doing and many other associations doing, bring us awareness for the people, especially if you take the male breast cancer patients. It is easy to detect the lump in a breast because they don't have proper breast. They have muscle basically. But unless you are aware about it, you will not come. And the literature says most of the breast cancer patients, especially the male breast cancer patients, comes at an advanced stage. Second one is choosing your surgical team. That is very, very important. Why? Unless the surgeon gives you an option of less radical surgery, unless he does the radical surgery in the proper way, unless he gives you the techniques of hand exercise, you will not be able to do. Unless he gives you the proper instructions, you will not be able to travel your journey. So choosing your surgical team is very, very important. Another thing, and you have heard from entire speakers today what we have heard, family support. The day you are diagnosed with cancer, from the surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, after that entire survival, and after your life, your family is very important. Your husband, maybe your wife, if you are a male breast cancer survivor, your children, your parents, your friends, your neighbors, all are very important emotionally, physically, as well as monetarily. Sometimes, especially in low-income countries, you are out drained totally, no money, what to do? And that is where the support comes. So family support, it goes without saying, it is very, very important. And another thing is arm exercise and proper arm care. Once you have completed your axillary treatment and your entire treatment of the cancer, keeping a good care of your arm is very important. That is, avoid wearing tight bangles, avoid wearing tight watches, avoid wearing tight rings. Also, most of the people in low income countries are farmers. When they are working or when you are doing your household chores, you should be very careful that you should not injure your arms, because it can indirectly cause lymphangitis, lymphedema, and it becomes very bad for some. So take proper care of your arms after your breast surgeries. Definitely stay healthy, stay safe, and stay happy. That is the basic thing. What I have heard from all the people, from Richa, Laura, Uma Madam, Anjali, Shravani, Sanjukta, everybody, the message is, once the treatment is over, you have to be healthy, safe, and happy. Here, I want to touch one more group of people. All of us have forgotten. Now, female breast cancer is very, very common. Male breast cancer is also being talked of. We have a lot of advocates, especially Breast Cancer Hub. Everybody is there. There are a small group of people called transgenders. We have to address their problems also. They are also prone to get breast cancer. If you take transgender female, they have got 0.6% of breast cancer, where male breast cancer is less than 1%. And also transgender males have got 0.3% chance of getting breast cancer. So these are another group of people also which will require our attention. So males, females, all transgender, everybody, axillary treatment matters. So to conclude, and some take-home message which I would like to say is, breast cancer awareness, early detection, less radical surgery, less complication, and good quality of life. Thank you. And Dr. Loba, we have time. I can just rush through these people and introduce them. Who are they?
Yeah, absolutely. You can take 1 more minute.
1 minute.
Yes,
1 minute. I'll just start from. Otherwise, it will not be complete.
Yeah.
So the first picture is Richard Roundtree. He is 1971 film actor. He was affected with breast cancer, male breast cancer. He has done double mastectomy and he's doing well. He is wrote Richie. He was a publisher in US, in Australia. There he went with breast lump. Many hospitals told, you are a male, you will not get. He was diagnosed late, but luckily he has undergone surgery and he is doing well. This is Edward Brooke. He is the first African American senator in US. He was diagnosed with breast cancer. He underwent treatment and he lived till 96 years, and he died of old age. This is Ernie Green. He is a baseball player for Cleveland Browns club. So he was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now he is cancer free and he is a big advocate of male breast cancer awareness. This is Rod Roddy. He is a famous iconic game show announcer. He had breast and colon cancer. Unfortunately, we lost him. This is Peter Criss. He's a drummer for Kiss band group, and he was included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014. He had breast cancer, and he's a big advocate of male breast awareness now. This is Montel Williams. He is a talk show host and television star, and he is famous for his Oz show. He is also a breast cancer survivor. And this is the same Ernie Green, who was the baseball player now. He is a hardcore male breast cancer awareness person. And this is a picture of Edward Brooke at late 80s, when he was very strong at that time, just to show that breast cancer cannot beat. And this is the first person which I have shown, Richard Roundtree. Now he's into church and other things, supporting male breast cancer awareness programs. And Rod Ritchie. And this is a mariner, Jim Fontella, who got breast cancer, and he survived the breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rakesh. And I'm so glad and happy that you brought up all the men breast cancer scenario also along with women. Like axilla management is uniform, but the way you brought it up, and I can't wait to share this forum, with Male Breast Cancer Coalition, and because we have been crazy. Like, as I told you, that when I come to India and even in US also, 90% of the men, they don't know that they get breast cancer. And in India, like 99%. And that's how we saved actually from BCH 2 men with breast cancer. Like one man came for his sister and then he heard the session and he was having a lump under the nipple. So thank you so much. And I'm so excited and happy. And it was such an amazing presentation. The axilla management is so critical, and the way you put it together is unbelievable. And this will be so helpful for all the cancer patients fighting breast cancer now, because this will be recorded. So this is a recorded session. So please share it with your network. So that will be so incredibly helpful. Everyone's talk here, then Dr. Saha's presentation, Dr. Rakesh presentation. So it shouldn't be staying just within this forum, right? So that we get to help others. And that was the motive behind like why I wanted to bring all these amazing people together, so that it's a learning experience, and this will be a kind of like a gift from all of us to the others fighting cancer right now, because each of you is an inspiration. Yeah, we will. So Shraddha, everyone is looking forward to the presentation. So this is a recorded session. So I'm going to share everything by tomorrow. So it takes time to download and, to put it on YouTube. So I'm going to work on everything today. And by tomorrow or in 2 days, I'm going to share the YouTube link with everyone. It will be posted everywhere. So please share it, because that will be so helpful for others. I think we actually, it's almost like 2 hours we went over with the session, but everyone was so amazing. If you have any question, please, unmute yourself. And because I don't want to hold on the participants, it's been almost 2 hours, and also our speakers, our kind speakers giving us time on a Sunday. So, but if you have any additional questions, please reach out to me, and anything to be directed to specific speakers, I will take your questions to them. But yeah, please, we can have another 1-2 minute for the question answer. So you can unmute yourself if you would like to ask anything to our speakers.
Yeah, Lopa, good evening. I just received a message from Teta Memorial Center, being a breast cancer awareness month. They have conducting a survey about the breast cancer awareness and breast and cervical cancer awareness from radiology group. I'll be sending you the details of the survey, and if you could share it with the people in your network, it will be great help to research work in Tata Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as, and it should have the consent and everything, right? So where it's going to be published and all. So
yeah, it's a WhatsApp message which has come from the radiology group.
Okay,
you can go through it, and it's for public domain only.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
yeah,
as long as
okay.
it maintains the HIPAA policy, we are good. So I'll definitely share. I'll look it up, and then I will
sure,
get
please.
share
Thank you.
it with the forum. Thank you so much for bringing this up.
A quick comment for Dr. Rakesh. Dr. Rakesh, I really appreciated all the introductions to all those pictures of the men that you did. I was wondering, so it was really nice to learn about them a little bit, and so I really appreciate. And also, you mentioned sentinel node biopsy. My surgeon, Dr. Carney, who unfortunately passed away after a few years, was a pioneer in sentinel node biopsy, and I did go through that, and so he didn't take out the whole all the lymph nodes. He just took out the sentinel node, and he did a quick test, so I didn't have to have more radical surgery. So whatever you said about that really resonated with me, and I really appreciate that, because it's not easy for a lay person to actually understand and know all these things. So yeah, it's great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you for the awesome presentation, Dr. Sharma. And I don't know how many of you know, he really does a lot of caricatures, a lot of paintings, and, a lot of etchings are all in his left hand. Yeah, that is his pastime, his favorite pastime. And I thought that Rakesh can put in some of it for us to see and enjoy it also. If you have those slides with you, Doctor, we'll be very happy. And I just wanted to ask you, what is the percentage that you have experienced now here in your surgical lane. Are the men coming forward really? I mean, because women, I know ladies, we have been doing a lot of awareness campaigns, and we talk about it a lot now. But what about the men's breast cancer? I mean, how is the reaction here in India? I mean, are the men coming
Ma'am,
forward?
see, at present, the number of people who are coming forward are very less. But with awareness, probably we may get the men community coming slowly, at least for checking once in a while, which is very important. See, for example, in 2017 in US, you had 700 cases. Out of that, 460 people died. So the studies have shown that the number of people, the mortality rate for male breast cancers are high compared with the females. So we have to be little careful. The thing is, the awareness should start, but the only problem here is the numbers are very less. So if you do the awareness at the cost of our female counterparts, so that may not balance in many communities. So I think whenever we talk about the female breast cancer, but touching a sentence about the male breast cancer at that forum will be a good thing. That is why when I presented in a forum where we talk about breast cancer, you have seen none of my slides had a female's picture. It was all male people's picture. Even the anatomy picture I showed was a male chest. So like that, if you bring out some awareness in different ways, so that they are also not feeling bad in forum. When you talk today, madam, so people will think, madam is talking about male breast. So there is something we have to keep things little serious. So since breast cancer hub has started it in US and in different parts of India, slowly it will pick up, and I'm sure that every one of us will start speaking about this in our forums, and slowly people will start coming. For example, many people will not show. They will think the most common thing is gynecomastia. It will be gynecomastia, or because of my old age I have something, and they just ignore, and probably we will not see these people till something really goes wrong. So we will have to really do something on that. Percentage is less than 0.5%, which we see in Bangalore, at least at this point of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Rakesh. So, Uma ma'am, I can also add a little bit over here. So when I'm doing the outreaches, right? So you might have seen my presentation. One slide is exclusively dedicated to the male breast cancer, where I have pictures of, like the group, Male Breast Cancer Coalition, all the survivors together. And this, I think, really helps the men, because for the men, it's a worse situation. They feel it's a woman's disease, so they do not come forward. And that's why our card is like one side is for men and one side is for women. And it has in 18 languages, and men love it now because they're at least taking it, even though they may not put many likes on the post or they may not talk, but they are now understanding and they're seeing and at least registering. That is one thing. The other problem that I face is that that's why I'm trying to do a lot of male breast cancer research, because lot of experiments that we do, right? And when I was with all this molecular level work, everything was with the female transgenic model of the mice. And even the clinical trials that's being done, all the drugs, it's all tested on the females. So, but the same drug we are giving to the males also, right? So it's very unjustified. So that way, now national, NIH and other forums, funding agencies, they are now pushing that we do a lot of experiments on the male mice also, which is the preclinical. And also in the clinical, the problem is like less percentage of the men. So as Dr. Rakesh said, so, the trial the N number needs to be increased too. But now what I'm trying to do is work with Male Breast Cancer Coalition and other researchers in the US, like the professors, and try to do a lot of epidemiological study on the males. And also in India, when I'm doing the epidemiological study, equally I'm focusing on the taking the database from the men also, like whether they know about it, and then kind of putting it in their mind that take this and do this breast self exam. Any issues, as Dr. Saha was saying, kind of pushing them, okay, now you have to speak to us, and we take accountability. So everyone has our contact, so they can reach out to us, and then we navigate towards the right resource. So I think it's working. It takes time, but it's one step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, Lupa. It was an awesome evening. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you. So
learned a lot.
Thank you, Uma ma'am. So if you have any questions, otherwise probably we'll close the session because it's been 2 hours, a little bit more than that. So on this note, I'm really, really thankful to everyone who participated, our honored guest and our esteemed speakers for your time today. We couldn't have done this without your participation and extremely grateful. And it shouldn't stay here. Please pass on the message about early detection and prevention of cancer, because that's how I feel that our survivors are doing such an incredible work, spreading the word, penetrating and helping others, so that is something that is kind of like what we go through. We shouldn't be, I've seen a lot of women with breast cancer. They're like, I went through this journey. Now I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm reliving the situation. But what Richa has done today, it was not easy for you, Richa. I know you broke down, but it's totally justified, what you did today and what you are doing for the community, because I know you come from Rajasthan, and so as the taboo, right? Just the word cancer itself is a taboo, and that's what our tagline is: break the cancer taboo, break the breast taboo, together we save lives. So that's what we are doing. Together we are coming together, breaking the breast taboo, because I think wherever I go, my mom and dad used to make fun of me. My dad used to make, okay, wherever she goes, it's the word breast all the time. So that's how it should be. And that's how, we are not talking about we shouldn't be the word breast. It should be an organ we are talking about that gives the life-saving immunity to the babies through the breast milk. And we shouldn't be shy to talk about it, because early detection is the key.
It happened with me in my own family. My mom, my dad didn't want to tell anybody that I got breast cancer. I'm like, it's okay. Everybody needs to know. At least people will learn from something that young person can also get it. So they need to be aware of it. Don't take it as a taboo that, okay, it's happened now. You cannot do anything. But the good thing is it can be cured, and I'm fine. So it also took a while for everybody in my family to deal with it mentally, but all good now.
Yeah.
All good.
Always when you accept things, it becomes easier. Simpler.
Yes.
If you don't accept, you won't fight against it, then it becomes
And
difficult.
I would say Lopa actually inspired me talking through it. I was not ready at all, honestly, because it's like, what do I say? What do I tell? Why people will care about my story? But Lopa actually inspired me. Like, no, just share it. And it helps. It helps with coping too, honestly. Still, it's been 5 years, but I still get tears in my eyes. I still see everything what happened. And I don't want even to any unknown person to happen all that, because it's not fun. Everybody knows that it is not fun. So thank you, Lopa. Thank you so much.
Today, Richa. Don't think of what happened to you earlier days. Just throw it out of your mind. It's all behind you. You're thrown it behind.
It's
so now
gone.
you look forward to better tomorrow. You had a lovely day today. You shared. We saw all of you. Yeah, it was such a lovely evening.
It's
so
a
each day
strength
is a new beginning. Each day is a new beginning.
Yes, it's a strength.
Now in COVID time, we don't know what tomorrow holds for us.
Yes.
So let's enjoy. Today is our day. Yesterday is history. It's already gone.
I know.
Tomorrow, now you don't even know its future. So today is your day. So break it into 24 hours program, which becomes easier, simpler to handle life. Don't think what will happen.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
No, I always tell myself, if I can deal with cancer, I can deal with anything. Come on.
Call all of us one day. Call all of us by turn.
I know. So thank you, Lopa. Thank you, everybody. It was wonderful to meet you all and to hear all the inspiring stories. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for this amazing, and thank you for, sharing your journey. And thank you to Dr. Saha and Dr. Rakesh for the evening. Yes, thank you very much.
Very much, Lopa, for bringing us all together. That is also very important. You brought all of us together. That's also very important. Thank you.
Thank you. It's together we save lives, right? I can't do anything on my own. We have to come together globally. Yes.
Together we march. Together we march.
And
thank you.
Take care all.
Thanks, Lopa.
Shine on,
everyone.
All of you.
Bye.
All of you, shine on. Shine on.
I have a question for.
Yes.
I had a question for Dr. Rakesh. Sorry, I wasn't able to say it earlier. But
May I know who this is? Sorry, I don't see
it's
the.
Anjali.
Oh, hi, Anjali. Yeah. So, yeah, you had a question for Dr. Rakesh? Yes.
Yeah. So I just turned 17 this year, as you know, and it's recommended on Breast Cancer Hub website that between the ages of 17 through 18, you should perform breast self-exam at least like once a month, right?
Yes.
So I was wondering, how do you differentiate between a lump and your actual breast? So how do you know that what I'm feeling on my breast right now is a lump and not my breast tissue?
So the lump will be okay. I can explain that to you. So when you are, so knowing your breast is most important, Anjali. So, and then you have attended my session, right? So what we do is that, so when you turn 17, post 7 days post your menstrual period. So a lump, if you're feeling a lump, it will be mostly like a mustard seed or a marble kind of thing. All right. So you know the marble, right? The ball kind of thing. Yeah. But then if that, so Dr. Rakesh is here. So Dr. Rakesh can answer your question too. And he also made a thing like how you touch it and ball that feeling. But one thing I always tell everyone is that, you know, that particular thing that you feel like a lump, kind of like a ball or a hard thing, just monitor it, you know, next month. If its size is increasing, then definitely report to the doctor. Yeah, Dr. Rakesh, you can chime in and then I can follow up again.
Ma'am, I didn't hear the question. Can you just repeat the question?
So what Anjali is asking is, how do you differentiate breast tissue and the lump?
Yeah. So, see, I know Anjali ma'am is going to different areas and talking to different forums.
She's Anjali Shah, one of a young girl, like 17, 18-year-olds. Yes.
Okay,
yes,
okay, Anjali. It's a very good question. So what you should do is, see, what we usually advise people who are coming is, you should start knowing what is normal and what is abnormal. The best time is as you are becoming around a teenager. We actually advise them to start getting a feel of your breast. That is the best time to know what is normal for you. So we usually ask them to do a self-breast examination monthly once. We actually initiate at that point of time if a girl asks a question like this. So usually we advise 7th day. So if you start, so teenager usually will start getting their periods. So day 1, day 7. So 7th day. So we usually follow a 7-day rule for many things. So 7th day of your periods, start feeling your breast. So it should not be a very elaborate feeling. Just feel and know your breast. So once you started feeling from a very early age, as you see abnormal things, you will be able to identify and pick it very fast. That is the usual thing. Having said that, there are few people who come at around 30 years, 40 years saying, I don't know how to identify a male, my breast, which is normal or abnormal. So for that, we have developed a model called field model, where we have got different shapes of breast kept, and normal breast, the breast which it will be felt just before your periods, when you have a fibroadenoma, which is a benign swelling, and when you have a lump, which is doubtful lump. So we have a model to teach the people how to feel. Many a time that is not possible. The best thing is to start early, get a feel of your normal breast, and definitely you will be able to pick up your abnormal lump over a period of time. Start early. That is my policy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Anjali, I always tell everyone, like, how do you know if I have gray hair or not? Because I'm observing, I'm taking, I'm checking all the time, right? So it's basically, knowing your breast. So that's why another tagline, Dr. Rakesh, that we adopted now, one of the ambassadors suggested that was know your body. So once you know your body, you can definitely immediately capture any abnormality that is going on in the breast. Yeah, I mean, in the breast I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering the question. It really helps a lot because I like you recommended that I should be doing at least monthly between the ages of 17 and 18. So I do want to do that. And I just wanted to know whether or not what I'm feeling are any abnormalities or not. So thank you.
Anjali, what are you doing, Anjali? Anjali, what are you doing?
So Dr. Rakesh, Anjali is my ambassador for Breast Cancer Hub. So we have this. So they are following this protocol. Yeah. So the correct protocol and everything. And what I do is when I'm doing the mentoring, I teach them, I tell them about it, and then also kind of tell them to share with their network, with their families, so that it spreads out. And I hope, Anjali, you are doing that too, because we have it in different languages. And Anjali, we have it in Gujarati also. So you need to share it with your network in India, in Gujarati. We can explain it.
Thank you for everything and answering my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we are good.